enhancements. So we used to have weekly focused children, and then I thought to myself, well, Denise needs to work on this and that. You know, why am I not? Why is her focus week 2 weeks from now? So we have this sheet, and we call it our weekly provision, focus, and enhancement sheet, where we look at areas of our provision that we might enhance. So you've got your basic provision, which is always there. And then we've got things that we might enhance to connect it to topic, interest, next step, maybe change the layout, depending on how children are using it. So at the top, and I'll work my way down, we've got important notes, things that we're like, oh goodness, okay, yeah, we need to work on that, or a reminder for me to get jobs done, whoops. For example, you can see the top one there was we had to be consistent with all children doing their own coats before entering the classroom at lunch and going home. Because I know it's quick sometimes, like, right, come over here and I'll get this zipped up. But I want everyone to be consistent with that. So I just put some important notes in there. Then I've got vocabulary on the right-hand side in pink. And that's just so all staff know vocabulary we're working on through topic, maths, other. So we were using first, next, and end for everything. And then we had our high frequency words we were teaching that week. Now down below, we've got pop-ups. A pop-up, which is our objective-led, is an adult focus activity connected to their next steps and planned around interests, with something we feel that the children need. So I put where are they now and what their next step's going to be. And in red, I've got what the activity could be to work on that next step. And an adult will be with that. Because if that was just left out in provision, will those, for example, that one there at the top on the left about pencil grip and forming letters, if that was just left out, would those children get what they need out of it independently? No, they would, like, I feel that they would need an adult there to guide them, to help teach that skill. And then when they've had it a couple of times, then it can go out as a mini-me mission, or just left out for them to freely access. So the pop-ups are the adult focus activities, and we like to promote them to say, oh, who wants to come over and do this? Blah, 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 blah. I've only got 5 spaces. And anyone can go to it. So the adults are skilled in that. If a child's going over to, for example, if it's a CVC word reading pop-up activity, and there's children who go over who are actually well-versed in phase 3, and are starting to write captions, then we'll have to be able to extend their learning at the same time, which is hard to do sometimes, but it's a skill that's well worth developing. And then below, we've got our provision enhancements, where we will jot down ideas that we've had to promote interests, to facilitate children's interest in provision. For example, you can see there in literacy for writing, some of the children started making mini booklets. So we put on there pre-folded ones, and then we put out pictures of the folded ones and steps on how to do that so they could do it independently. And we put out some split pins, and then we taught them how to use the split pins to make booklets. That was just following along that interest there. And throwing on the next side, we had throwing games at lunchtime for outdoors, that's connected to our PE. And also because we noticed that a lot of children were playing their own games outside when they had to score points. And we thought, right, okay, let's, how can we? And then in red, you'll see something called mini-me missions. And I'll show more about that later. But a mini-me mission is an enhancement that we will set up. So that's set up, it's not part of all of our provision, for the children to access independently. Now that will be a activity or a skill that we've already have practice doing along with an adult, or as part of a carpet input. And then they're gonna have they've got a little picture of themselves pegged around a mini-me mission card, and they'll know that that's their mission to go off and complete. And that'll be something connected to prior learning, something they've done before, and there'll be a little activity or something connected to them for them to go off and practice and really embed that learning. And when they do it, they can take a photograph of their work on the iPad with their mini-me beside it, and then put their mini-me on something I call the Tree of Dreams, which you will see later. Our mini-me missions. The mini-me missions are based on prior learning, and we like to use them to try and encourage independence and to practice a skill that they're also working on. It won't be something brand new that they've never done before, because then that would need an adult to facilitate that learning and to practice that skill. So we put these pictures out for them, and they're usually on a clipboard, and on a stand, and around the edge will go their mini-me, which is a picture of them on a peg. On the far right, you can see examples of these. I've just covered over their little faces. And they're on a peg, and then they can just take it off when they've done their mini-me mission. And we like to encourage them to use the iPad to take a photograph of their work, or if it's on paper, remember to write their name, they can peg it on the wow wall. Now, to help them with this, on the QR codes, they can scan them using the iPad, and it takes them to a demo video of me modeling the activity, just in case they need a little reminder. And that's just helping them to be more independent. So you can use the iPad, scan it, and it takes them to our Google Drive where there's a video of me modeling it, and then I've got it then for next time, for next year. So I've got little mini-me mission sheets that I can reuse again and again. And when they've done their mini-me mission, then they can take it to the Tree of Dreams to say that they've done it. Now, I might only have the 2 or 3 mini-me missions across a week, because some sort of might not go to it straight away, and we don't want it to become, laborious or like, oh, I don't want to go and do it. But usually they are quite prompt at going over and doing the mini-me missions, not straight. Whenever we first introduced it, it wasn't like that. They love going over to see where their mini-me mission might be. And we don't want them to be everywhere, because then that just takes over the provision. We want it to be meaningful, connected to prior learning to make them more independent and interesting.